Snow began falling. The morning Marcus Reed moved to Northlake. He stood in the cold kitchen, one hand holding coffee, the other trembling from wind pushing through the glass door. Across the window, inside the large house blanketed in white snow, a woman was watching him without blinking. She smiled, raised her coffee cup like a wordless greeting. Marcus didn't know she was a billionaire. She didn't know he'd lost sleep for 3 years because of his daughter. But in that moment, in the silent winter, they both understood. Their stable lives were about to change forever. The moving truck had left 2 hours ago. Marcus stood in the empty living room, watching Lily press her palms against the frost-covered window. Her breath fogged the glass in small circles that faded and returned with each exhale. "Dad, look. The whole world is white." She was 8. Too young to understand why they'd left the city. Too young to know that her father had spent the last 3 years building a life that revolved entirely around her schedule, her needs, her small questions about homework and whether clouds had feelings. "It's beautiful, sweetie." Marcus set down the box he'd been holding. His back ached. His hands were raw from carrying furniture in the cold. The house was old but solid. 2 bedrooms, a backyard that disappeared into pine trees, a neighborhood where people kept their distance, which suited him fine. He'd chosen Northlake because it was quiet, because the school had good ratings, because he could afford the rent on his remote tech support salary and still have enough left over for Lily's art supplies and the occasional pizza night. "Can we build a snowman tomorrow?" "Maybe." Marcus walked to the kitchen, filled a pot with water for pasta. The stove was electric, unfamiliar. He turned the wrong dial twice before finding the right burner. Through the kitchen window, he could see the house next door. It was larger than his, modern. Glass and stone and sharp angles that didn't quite fit the rustic charm of the rest of the street. Warm light glowed from inside, casting orange rectangles across the snow-covered lawn. Someone was moving inside. Marcus looked away. He had pasta to boil, boxes to unpack, a bedtime story to read. He didn't have time to wonder about neighbors. But when he glanced back, just for a moment, he saw her, a woman, standing in her kitchen, looking out at the snow. She turned. Their eyes met across the distance. She didn't look away. Neither did he. Then Lily called from the living room. "Dad, where's Mr. Rabbit?" And the moment broke. Marcus found the stuffed animal buried in a box marked Lily's room. By the time he returned to the kitchen, the woman was gone. The pasta boiled over. He cleaned it up, served dinner on paper plates because the real ones were still packed, and tried not to think about the way that stranger had looked at him. Like she recognized something. Like she was lonely too. That night, after Lily fell asleep, clutching Mr. Rabbit, Marcus sat in the dark living room with his laptop. Work emails. Bills. A message from his sister asking how the move went. He typed back, *. Fine. Lily's happy. House is good. He didn't mention the exhaustion that lived in his bones. The weight of being the only person responsible for another human's entire existence. The way he sometimes stood in the shower and just breathed, counting to 10, reminding himself that he was doing okay, that Lily was healthy and safe, and that was all that mattered. At 11:47 p.m., he closed the laptop, walked to the window. The house next door was still lit, and there she was again. Standing in her own window, looking out at the snow that continued to fall in thick, lazy flakes. She held a mug. Steam rose from it, visible even from this distance. Marcus didn't move. Neither did she. They just stood there, 2 people awake while the rest of the world slept, separated by snow and glass and 50 feet of frozen ground. Finally, she raised her hand. A small wave. Marcus's heart did something strange. He lifted his own hand, returned the gesture. She smiled. Then she stepped back, disappeared into the warm light of her house. Marcus stood at the window for another 5 minutes, watching snow accumulate on the bare branches of the trees between their properties. When he finally went to bed, he dreamed of winter. The boxes multiplied overnight. That's what it felt like. Anyway, Marcus woke at 5:30 a.m. His body's internal clock hadn't adjusted to the absence of Lily's 6 a.m. alarm and stared at the stack of cardboard in the hallway. Kitchen supplies. Books. The good towels his mother had given him 3 Christmases ago. He made coffee in the unfamiliar kitchen, using the machine he'd set up last night by muscle memory. The first cup was too strong. He drank it anyway, standing at the counter, looking out at the blue dark morning. Snow had stopped falling. Everything was still. Then, movement. The woman appeared in her kitchen window, also holding coffee. She wore a thick sweater. Her hair was pulled back. Even from this distance, Marcus could see the dark circles under her eyes. She hadn't slept well either. Their eyes met again. This time, she didn't just wave. She raised her mug, tilted it slightly toward him. A toast. Marcus found himself smiling. He lifted his own cup, mirrored the gesture. For 30 seconds, they stood there. 2 insomniacs drinking coffee in the pre-dawn cold, connected by nothing but proximity and the strange intimacy of shared wakefulness. Then a light turned on upstairs in Marcus's house. Lily. He turned, set down his mug, headed for the stairs. When he glanced back, the woman was gone. Lily wanted pancakes. Marcus made them from a mix, adding chocolate chips because it was Saturday and because moving to a new place deserved something special. "Did you see the house next door?" Lily asked, drowning her plate in syrup. "I did. It's really big. Like a castle. It's nice. Do you think a family lives there?" Marcus flipped another pancake. "I don't know, honey. We should bring them cookies. Mom always said that's what you do with new neighbors." The mention of her mother still made Marcus's chest tight. Angela had been gone for 3 years cancer, fast and brutal, but Lily remembered her in small, specific ways. The cookie thing, the way she'd sung in the car, her rule about always wearing mismatched socks on Tuesdays. "Maybe we'll do that," Marcus said quietly. "You always say maybe, because sometimes maybe turns into yes." Lily considered this, then nodded, satisfied. After breakfast, Marcus bundled her up 2 layers. Boots, the puffy coat that made her look like a tiny astronaut, and they went outside to assess the snow situation. It was deep. Nearly a foot had fallen overnight. "Snowman?" Lily asked hopefully. "Let me shovel the driveway first." He was halfway through the task, sweating despite the cold, when he heard a door open. The woman stepped onto her porch. She wore a long black coat, boots that looked expensive. Her breath came out in visible puffs. She looked at Marcus. He looked at her. Lily looked at both of them, then waved enthusiastically. "Hi, we're new. I'm Lily." The woman's face softened. She walked to the edge of her driveway, stopped at the invisible property line. "Hello, Lily. I'm Evelyn." Her voice was lower than Marcus expected. Calm, the kind of voice that didn't rush. "This is my dad, Marcus." Evelyn's eyes shifted to him. "Welcome to the neighborhood." "Thanks." Marcus leaned on the shovel, suddenly aware of how he must look, old jacket, snow-dusted hair, the exhaustion that never quite left his face. "How are you settling in?" "Getting there." Silence stretched. "Not uncomfortable, exactly. Just present." "The snow's supposed to keep up through Tuesday," Evelyn said. "I heard. If you need anything salt for the driveway, extra shovel, just knock." Marcus nodded. "Appreciate it." Lily tugged his coat. "Can we build the snowman now?" "In a minute." But Evelyn was already walking back toward her house. She paused at her door, looked over her shoulder. "Nice to meet you both." Then she was gone. Marcus finished shoveling. Lily built her snowman lopsided. With stick arms and a carrot nose Marcus had to retrieve from the unpacked groceries. That night, when he tucked her in, Lily said, "I like Evelyn. She seems lonely." Marcus kissed her forehead. "What makes you say that? She has a big house, but no one to share it with." Out of the mouths of 8-year-olds. The routine established itself without discussion. 8:30 a.m. coffee, window. Marcus would appear in his kitchen. Evelyn would be there in hers. They'd raise their mugs, a silent greeting, then go about their mornings. No words, just acknowledgement. It became the best part of Marcus's day. On Tuesday morning, he watched her through the snow that had started falling again, lighter this time. Just dustings that caught the early light. She looked tired. He wondered what kept her awake. At 6:15, he woke Lily for school. The bus stop was 4 blocks away. Marcus walked her there, holding her hand, listening to her chatter about her new classroom and the girl named Sophie who'd shared her crayons. "Do you think Evelyn has kids?" Lily asked. "I don't think so." "Why not?" Marcus didn't have an answer. The bus arrived. Lily climbed aboard, waved from the window until the vehicle turned the corner and disappeared. Marcus walked home slowly. The street was quiet. Most people had already left for work. Smoke rose from a few chimneys. When he reached his driveway, he saw Evelyn. She was standing in her yard, looking at a row of bushes along her fence line. Marcus hesitated, then walked to the edge of his property. "Morning." She turned. "Good morning. Everything okay?" "Just checking on the holly." It doesn't always survive hard freezes. Marcus didn't know anything about plants. He nodded anyway. Evelyn pulled her coat tighter. "Your daughter seems wonderful." "She is. How's she adjusting?" "Better than I expected." Marcus shoved his hands in his pockets. "Kids are resilient. And you?" The question caught him off guard. "I'm managing." Evelyn's expression didn't change, but something shifted in her eyes. Understanding, maybe, or recognition. "It's not easy," she said quietly. "Doing it alone." Marcus looked at her more carefully. "You speaking from experience? Different kind of alone." But yes, the wind picked up. Snow swirled between them. "I should go," Evelyn said. "Conference call in 20 minutes. Right." "Yeah." She walked back toward her house, then paused. "Marcus?" "Yeah?" "The coffee thing. In the morning. It's nice." "Yeah," he said. "It is." That afternoon, Marcus worked from his makeshift home office, a desk wedged into the corner of his bedroom. 2 monitors, a headset for customer support calls. A woman in Idaho couldn't get her printer to connect to Wi-Fi. A man in Texas needed help recovering his email password. A teenager in Ohio had somehow installed 17 browser toolbars and couldn't figure out how to remove them. Marcus walked them through solutions, his voice patient, his mind elsewhere. At 3:30, he logged off and walked to the bus stop to meet Lily. She came home with a drawing. Their house, covered in snow, with a big sun overhead and stick figures of her and Marcus standing in the yard. "That's us," she explained, unnecessarily. "I love it. Can we hang it on the fridge?" "Absolutely." They made grilled cheese for dinner. Lily did her homework at the kitchen table while Marcus cleaned up, and through the window, he saw Evelyn arrive home. A black car pulled into her driveway. She stepped out, still in business clothes, carrying a leather bag. She looked up. Their eyes met. She didn't smile this time. Just looked at him, her expression unreadable. Then, she went inside. Marcus finished the dishes. The plow came through on Wednesday night, pushing snow into tall banks at the end of every driveway. Marcus spent Thursday morning digging out his mailbox. His back screamed. His hands went numb even through gloves. He was taking a break, breathing hard, when he heard scraping from next door. Evelyn was shoveling her own driveway. She moved efficiently, methodically, like someone who'd done physical labor before. Marcus watched her for a moment, then grabbed his shovel and walked to the fence line. "Need a hand?" She looked up, surprised. "I've got it. 2 shovels work faster than 1. Evelyn hesitated, then nodded. "All right." "Thank you." They worked in silence at first. The only sounds were scraping metal, heavy breathing, the occasional grunt of effort. After 20 minutes, they'd cleared both driveways. Evelyn leaned on her shovel, face flushed from exertion. I appreciate the help. No problem. Can I offer you coffee? Real coffee, not the instant stuff. Marcus glanced at his house. Lily wouldn't be home for another 3 hours. Sure, Evelyn's house was exactly what Marcus expected, and nothing like it at the same time. Clean lines, expensive furniture, but also stacks of books on every surface, a blanket draped over the couch, dishes in the sink. She lived here. Really lived here. Cream? Sugar? Evelyn called from the kitchen. Black's fine. She returned with 2 mugs, gestured to the couch. Marcus sat. The coffee was excellent. How long have you lived here? He asked. 5 years. You like it? It's quiet. That's why I chose it too. Evelyn sat in the armchair across from him, cradling her mug. Lily mentioned you're doing this alone. Her mother died 3 years ago. I'm sorry. Me too. Silence. Not awkward. Just present. And you? Marcus asked. Not married. Never was. Evelyn looked into her coffee. I travel a lot for work. Not exactly conducive to relationships. What kind of work? Corporate consulting. It was vague enough that Marcus didn't push. They talked for another 20 minutes. Surface things. The neighborhood. The school system. The hardware store that had decent prices. When Marcus stood to leave, Evelyn walked him to the door. Thank you again, she said. For the help. Any time. He meant it. You went to Evelyn's house? Lily said it like Marcus had committed a minor crime. Just for coffee. We shoveled snow together. Did you see her whole house? Some of it. Was it like a castle? More like a very clean, regular house. Lily frowned, clearly disappointed. A cat? Didn't see one. So she lives all alone in that big house? Marcus stirred the pot of chili on the stove. Yeah, I guess so. That's sad. She seems fine with it. Adults always say they're fine. Lily climbed onto the kitchen stool, swinging her legs. But Evelyn has sad eyes. Marcus turned to look at his daughter. Sad eyes? Like she's thinking about something that makes her hurt. Like you used to look, before we moved. The perceptiveness of children was terrifying sometimes. People have their own lives, honey. We don't always know what they're dealing with, but we could be her friends. Then she wouldn't be so alone. We barely know her. So, you make friends by getting to know people. Marcus couldn't argue with that logic. Over the next week, Evelyn became a regular presence in their peripheral life. She helped Marcus figure out why his garbage disposal wasn't working. A stuck fork. He felt like an idiot. She lent Lily a book about stars when Marcus mentioned his daughter was obsessed with astronomy. She waved every morning through the kitchen window. Small things. Easy things. But Marcus noticed she never stayed long. Never lingered in conversation. Always had somewhere to be, something to do. The walls were still there. On Saturday, Lily asked if they could invite Evelyn to the park. She's probably busy, Marcus said. We should ask. So they did. Marcus knocked on her door, feeling ridiculous, with Lily bouncing beside him. Evelyn answered in jeans and a sweater. Casual. She looked younger somehow. Hi, Marcus said. We're heading to the park. Lily wanted to know if you'd like to come. Evelyn's eyes widened slightly. Oh. Please? Lily added. We're going to feed the ducks. Dad brought bread. You're not supposed to feed ducks bread, Evelyn said automatically. We brought lettuce too, Marcus offered. A smile tugged at Evelyn's mouth. All right. Let me grab my coat. The park was 15 minutes away, empty except for a jogger and an elderly couple on a bench. The pond was partially frozen. 3 ducks huddled near the unfrozen section, looking cold and annoyed. Lily tossed lettuce. The ducks ignored her. They're offended by vegetables, Evelyn said. Healthy eating is important, Lily said seriously, sounding exactly like her mother used to. Marcus's chest tightened. Evelyn must have noticed. She glanced at him, but didn't comment. They walked the path around the pond. Lily ran ahead, then circled back, then ran ahead again. An endless loop of 8-year-old energy. "She's a good kid," Evelyn said. "She is. You're doing a good job." Marcus kicked a stone off the path. "Most days I feel like I'm barely keeping it together. That's parenthood, from what I understand. You ever think about having kids?" Evelyn was quiet for a long moment. "I thought about it. Long time ago. But my life went a different direction. Regrets? Some days." They watched Lily try to climb a tree. Fail. Try again. "She's right, you know," Marcus said. "About what?" "You do have sad eyes." Evelyn stopped walking. "She said that?" "Word for word. Smart kid. The smartest." Evelyn looked away toward the frozen pond. "I'm good at my job. Very good. But it takes everything. Every hour, every thought. I built my entire life around being excellent at one thing. And I look around sometimes and realize I forgot to build anything else." Marcus understood that. They stood there, watching Lily finally make it up the tree, her triumphant shout echoing across the empty park. The swing set in Marcus's backyard was old and frozen solid. Lily had been complaining about it since they moved in. Marcus kept promising to fix it, but between work and unpacking and just existing, he hadn't gotten around to it. On Sunday morning, he finally grabbed his tools. 10 minutes in, he realized the bolts were rusted through. "Need help?" Evelyn stood at the fence, wearing a heavy coat and work gloves. Marcus blinked. "You know about swing sets. I know about stuck bolts." She came over, assessed the situation, then disappeared into her garage and returned with penetrating oil and a better wrench. Together, they dismantled the frozen joints, replaced the rusted hardware, and got the swings moving again. It took 2 hours. Lily tested it immediately, pumping her legs, soaring up toward the gray winter sky. "Higher!" she shouted. Marcus watched her, smiling. "You're good with her," Evelyn said. "I try. It shows." They sat on the back steps, drinking water, watching Lily swing. "Can I ask you something?" Marcus said. "Sure. Why did you move here?" "To Northlake." "This isn't exactly a corporate hub." Evelyn pulled off her gloves. "I wanted somewhere quiet. Somewhere people wouldn't recognize me." "Recognize you?" She met his eyes. "I'm not just a consultant, Marcus. I run a company. Large company. And everywhere I go, people know my name, my net worth, my last 5 business decisions. I just wanted one place where I could be normal." Marcus processed this. "How large?" "Large enough that I can't really take a week off without things falling apart." "Sounds lonely." "It is." Lily jumped off the swing mid-arc, landed in a heap, laughed, and climbed back on. "She doesn't care about any of that," Marcus said. "What you do. What you're worth. She just likes you." "I know." Evelyn's voice was soft. "That's why it's nice." The dynamic shifted after that. Evelyn started coming over more. Never without reason she'd bring mail that had been misdelivered, or ask to borrow a ladder, or offer to watch Lily if Marcus needed to run an errand. But she stayed longer each time. She taught Lily how to make a proper snow fort. She helped Marcus assemble the bookshelf he'd been avoiding. She ate dinner with them twice, spaghetti one night, tacos the next, and didn't flinch when Lily talked with her mouth full or when Marcus had to pause mid-conversation to clean up spilled juice. It felt natural, easy, and that terrified Marcus more than he wanted to admit. Evelyn stopped showing up in the kitchen window. It happened gradually. One morning she wasn't there. Then 2 mornings. Then a week. Marcus told himself it was fine. She had her own life, her own responsibilities. But Lily noticed. "Is Evelyn mad at us?" "No, honey." "Then where is she?" "Probably just busy with work." "For a whole week?" Marcus didn't have a good answer. He saw her once, briefly, getting into her car early one morning. She looked exhausted, worn down. He raised his hand in a wave. She barely glanced at him before driving away. It was Tuesday night. Marcus was making grilled chicken, fighting with the stove's temperamental heat settings. Yeah? Do you think Evelyn is okay? Marcus turned. Lily sat at the table, homework abandoned, her face serious. I'm sure she's fine. She looked sad. When I saw her yesterday, you saw her? She was getting her mail. I said hi. She smiled, but it wasn't real. Marcus turned off the stove, sat down across from his daughter. Sometimes adults go through hard things, he said carefully, and they don't always know how to talk about it. Like when Mom died? Yeah, like that. Lily twisted her pencil. Should we check on her? I don't know if she wants to be checked on. But friends check on friends. That's what you told me. Out-logicked by an 8-year-old. Again, Marcus knocked on Evelyn's door on Wednesday evening. No answer. He knocked again. The door opened. Evelyn stood there in sweatpants and an oversized shirt, hair down, face bare of makeup. She looked human, vulnerable. Marcus, hey, just wanted to make sure you're okay. Haven't seen you around. I'm fine. Just swamped with work. Lily asked about you. Something flickered in Evelyn's expression. Tell her I'm sorry. I've been terrible company. You don't owe us anything. I know. But Evelyn. Good night, Marcus. The door closed. Marcus stood there for a long moment, then walked home. The email arrived at 6:47 a.m. Marcus was drinking coffee, alone at his kitchen window. Evelyn's kitchen was dark. His phone buzzed. A message from his sister. Asterisk. Did you know your neighbor is that Evelyn Cross? Asterisk. A link followed. Marcus clicked it. Forbes article. Evelyn Cross, the CEO who turned a failing tech company into a $3 billion empire. Photo of Evelyn in a sharp suit, standing in front of floor-to-ceiling windows, city skyline behind her. The same Evelyn who'd helped him fix a swing set, who'd sat on his back steps, drinking water from a plastic bottle, who'd let Lily teach her how to properly feed ducks. Marcus set down his phone, picked it back up. Read the article. CEO of Crosstech Industries, worth an estimated $2.4 billion. Known for her brutal efficiency and complete dedication to the company she'd built from nothing, Miss Cross is rarely seen outside of business contexts, the article noted. She maintains an intensely private personal life and is known to work 18-hour days regularly. No wonder she looked exhausted. Marcus didn't know what to do with the information. He couldn't unknow it. Couldn't pretend he was still under the impression she was just a corporate consultant, but he also couldn't figure out why it mattered. She was still the same person, wasn't she? On Friday morning, Evelyn appeared in her kitchen window for the first time in 10 days. She raised her coffee mug. Marcus raised his. They stood there, 50 feet apart, looking at each other. Then Evelyn set down her mug and picked up her phone. Marcus's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Asterisk. Can we talk? Come over when you have time. Evelyn's house felt different now that Marcus knew. He looked at the expensive furniture and saw not just good taste but obscene wealth. The artwork on the walls probably cost more than his car. Coffee? Evelyn asked. I'm good. They sat in her living room. Evelyn pulled her feet up onto the couch, wrapping her arms around her knees. You know, she said. Not a question. My sister sent me an article. I figured someone would, eventually. Evelyn looked at him. I should have told you. Why didn't you? Because I liked being just Evelyn. Not Evelyn Cross, CEO. Not the woman who lives for quarterly earnings and board meetings. Just a person who fixes swing sets and feeds ducks. Marcus leaned back. I don't care about the money. Everyone cares about the money. I care that you lied. I didn't lie. I just didn't correct your assumptions. That's still lying. Evelyn's jaw tightened. You're right. I'm sorry. They sat in silence. Finally, Marcus said, Why are you here? In this neighborhood? Why not some gated estate somewhere? Because I'm so tired. The words came out raw. I'm tired of being watched. Evaluated. Photographed. I'm tired of every conversation being a negotiation. I wanted one place where I could just be. Small. You're not small. No. But I wanted to feel like I could be. Marcus understood that better than she knew. Lily doesn't care, he said, about what you do, what you're worth. She just thinks you're lonely and could use friends. Evelyn's eyes went bright. She blinked rapidly. The smartest. Marcus. She stopped, started again. I don't know how to do this. The normal life thing. I work 80 hours a week. I take calls at 3 in the morning. I forget to eat, to sleep, to exist outside of my company. I don't know how to be the kind of person who has friends and shows up and doesn't disappear for weeks at a time. So learn. It's not that simple. Isn't it? Evelyn looked at him like he'd suggested something impossible. I'm serious, Marcus said. You built a multi-billion-dollar company from nothing. You can figure out how to be present for people who care about you. I don't know if I can. Then try. They didn't talk for 3 days after that. Marcus gave Evelyn space. Focused on Lily, on work, on the rhythm of normal life. But he thought about her constantly. On Monday evening, she knocked on his door. Lily was at a birthday party. Wouldn't be home for another hour. Can we talk? Evelyn asked. Yeah, come in. They sat at the kitchen table. Evelyn had her hands folded in front of her, knuckles white. I've been thinking about what you said, she began. About trying. Okay, and I want to. I really do. But Marcus, I need you to understand something. She looked at him. My company isn't a hobby. It's 800 employees who depend on me. It's innovations that change industries. It's everything I've built, everything I am. I'm not asking you to give that up, but you're asking me to be less available to it. To carve out time, attention, energy that I've never had to share before. Yes, I am. Evelyn's breath came out shaky. What if I can't? What if I try and I fail and I hurt people, hurt Lily because I'm too broken to be what you need? Marcus reached across the table, took her hand. She flinched but didn't pull away. I'm not asking you to be anything, he said quietly. I'm just asking if you want to see what happens if you try. Want to see? Yeah. Evelyn stared at their joined hands. I've never been so scared of anything. Good relationships are scary. Is that what this is? A relationship? Marcus didn't answer immediately. Instead, he said, I'm a single dad with a tech support job and a 7-year-old car and a daughter who needs me every single day. I can't travel. I can't do spontaneous weekend trips. I can't be the kind of person who fits into your world. I don't want someone from my world. Then what do you want? Evelyn's voice broke. I want to stop being so alone. I want to have coffee with someone every morning. I want to help fix swing sets and feed ducks and sit through dinner with an 8-year-old who talks about stars. I want to feel like I matter to someone for reasons that have nothing to do with profits or strategy or market dominance. You do matter. To us. How can you say that? You barely know me. I know you help neighbors shovel snow. I know you read books about astronomy so you can talk to Lily about constellations. I know you stand in your kitchen at 5:30 in the morning looking like you're carrying the weight of the world and still manage to smile when you see me. Evelyn was crying now, silently, tears sliding down her face. I don't know how to do this, she whispered. Neither do I. I'll mess it up. Probably. I'll disappoint you. Maybe. Marcus. He leaned forward, hesitated, then kissed her. It wasn't smooth. Their noses bumped. Evelyn's breath hitched. But then she kissed him back, her hand coming up to cup his face. And for a moment, everything was simple. When they pulled apart, Evelyn laughed, watery and unsteady. That was terrible timing, she said. Probably. I'm leaving for Tokyo on Thursday. I'll be gone 2 weeks. Okay. You're not upset? No. Just come back. Evelyn looked at him like he'd handed her something precious and fragile. I will. I promise. The snowfall came heavy on Thursday morning. Marcus stood at the window, watching Evelyn's car pull out of the driveway at 4:45 a.m., headlights cutting through the dark and white. She'd stopped by the night before to say goodbye to Lily, brought her a new book about space stations, hugged her, held on a little longer than necessary. 2 weeks, she'd said. Then I'll be back. Promise? Lily asked. Promise. The 2 weeks passed slowly. Evelyn texted when she could photos of Tokyo at night, brief messages about meetings that ran too long, a voice note where she sounded exhausted but said she was thinking of them. Marcus sent pictures back. Lily's science project. A snowman they built that looked like an alien. The sunrise over Northlake that turned everything pink and gold. Small things, but they mattered. Evelyn came home on a Tuesday. Marcus saw the car pull in at 9:32 p.m. Saw the lights turn on in her house. The next morning, at 5:30 a.m., she was standing in her kitchen window, coffee in hand, tired but smiling. Marcus raised his mug. She raised hers. Through the glass and snow and distance, they looked at each other. Then Evelyn held up a piece of paper to the window. Marcus squinted. It said, "*breakfast? All three of us? *" He laughed. Nodded. Held up his phone to show he'd text her. They met at a diner downtown. Lily ordered pancakes with whipped cream and sprinkles. Marcus got eggs and bacon. Evelyn ordered oatmeal and picked at it while Lily talked nonstop about the solar system model she was building. Jupiter is the biggest planet, Lily explained, using her fork as a demonstration tool. But it's mostly gas, so if you tried to land on it, you'd just fall right through. That's slightly terrifying, Evelyn said. Right? Marcus watched them, feeling something settle in his chest. This wasn't perfect. Evelyn would leave again. She had obligations, responsibilities that wouldn't disappear, but she'd come back. She'd chosen to come back. After breakfast, they walked through the snowy park. Lily ran ahead, throwing snowballs at trees. How was Tokyo? Marcus asked. Exhausting. Necessary. I closed a deal that will keep us solvent for the next 5 years. That's good. It is. Evelyn glanced at him. But I kept thinking about this. About coffee in the morning and pancakes on Tuesday, and how you look at me like I'm not a balance sheet. You're definitely not a balance sheet. Most people in my life treat me like one. Then, you need better people in your life. Evelyn stopped walking. Marcus, I need you to know I'm still going to travel. I'm still going to work impossible hours. This is who I am. I know. And you're okay with that? Marcus thought about it. I'm okay with trying, with seeing what we can build around the complications. That's not a guarantee of anything. Nothing is. They stood there, watching Lily attempt to build a snow fort. I don't know how this story ends, Evelyn said quietly. Nobody does. That doesn't scare you? Terrifies me. But I'm tired of being alone. Evelyn slipped her hand into his. Her fingers were cold. Me too. Spring came eventually, like it always did. The snow melted. The trees turned green. Lily finished second grade with straight A's and a science fair award for her Jupiter model. Evelyn traveled Berlin, Singapore, San Francisco. But she came home. Every time. And when she was home, she showed up. For coffee at 5:30 a.m. For dinner at the kitchen table. For Saturday mornings in the park, feeding ducks the proper vegetables. Marcus didn't ask for promises about the future. Evelyn didn't pretend she could be something she wasn't. They just existed together, in the spaces between everything else. One morning in early April, Marcus woke to find a note slipped under his door. *Coffee? My kitchen. I'll make it good. He smiled, pulled on a sweatshirt, walked across the dewy grass in bare feet. Evelyn opened the door before he could knock. She looked softer somehow. Lighter. Morning, she said. Morning. They drank coffee on her back porch, watching the sun come up over the thawing world. I talked to my board, Evelyn said. Told them I'm limiting travel to 1 week per month. The rest I'll do remote. Marcus looked at her. You didn't have to do that. I wanted to. I'm tired of choosing between work and life. I want both. Can you have both? I don't know. But I'm going to try. She leaned against him. He put his arm around her. They sat there until the coffee went cold and the morning turned into day. Inside Marcus's house, Lily woke up and looked out her window, saw her dad and Evelyn on the porch, and smiled. She went downstairs, made herself cereal, and started reading her new astronomy book. Outside, the world kept turning. The snow was gone, but the connection it had created remained. Winter returned the following year. This time, when the snow fell, 3 people stood at 3 different windows. Marcus in his kitchen, Lily in her bedroom, Evelyn in hers. They all raised their mugs at the same time. A ritual, a promise, a family built not by blood or law, but by choice and presence and the willingness to keep showing up, even when it was hard. The snow fell, the world was quiet, and no one was alone.